Find the values of x and y. We have a 30, 60, 90 triangle, and we're given 20 for the hypotenuse. X is opposite the 30 and y is opposite the 60. So remember the ratios are 1, radical 3, and then 2 for the 30 degrees, 60 degrees, and 90 degrees. So we're going to have a big long proportion here. We're going to have the x is opposite the 30, so it's going to be x to 1 equals, and the y is opposite the 60, so it's going to be y to radical 3, and then the 20 is opposite the 90 degrees, so equals 20 to 2. So we're going to have two different proportions to solve here separately, made from this one big one. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to ignore this y radical 3 and just use the x over 1 and the 20 to 2. That looks very easy to solve. So I'm just going to, and you could do this any way you wanted to. You could ignore the x first and then solve for y, but I think the other way is easier. So I'm going to do x to 1 equals 20 to 2. And then cross multiply to solve. So I'm going to get 2 times x equals 1 times 20, which is 20. Divide by 2, so x equals 10. So now I'm going to substitute back into this other proportion. It's going to be 10 to 1 equals y to radical 3, which equals 20 to 2. So now I have choices in how I want to solve for this y. I could either use 10 to 1 equals y to radical 3, or y to radical 3 equals 20 to 2. I always like to use the smaller numbers when possible, so I'm going to use 10 to 1 equals y to radical 3. Now cross multiply, 1 times y is y. 10 times radical 3 equals 10 radical 3. So we have x equals 10 and y equals 10 radical 3, which is D.